This is the problem with
And we'll be with you shortly.
And we're live.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to a special Saturday episode of Hollywood Matrimony Live.
Where all your dreams come true.
Do they?
I don't know.
Make sure you check out our website, hollywoodmatrimony.com. Thank you so much for watching us on Facebook and YouTube. You can also find us on Twitter and on Instagram. We'll see you there. Clicky, clicky.
Where are you going to see them at?
On the Twitter and the Instagram and the Facebook and the YouTube.
How do you see them?
Because they can clicky, clicky things. That's why I said clicky, clicky.
Oh, fancy.
Go click some stuff.
All right.
All right. Well, we're doing a special Saturday show.
Yeah, and the only reason it's a special Saturday show is because someone has other things they have to do. So we decided to go ahead and do it tonight. Throw everybody for a curveball.
Here, I'm going to start a watch party. How does that work?
I don't know, but I guess we're going to find out.
We're going to find out.
Technology.
Somebody's watching. Say something about this. Come watch our show.
Hold on. Let me figure out what the hell she's doing over here.
I don't know what I'm doing either. I'm going to start it.
Anyway, so today we don't have a whole lot of different variations of films, but we're going to do one brand, franchise, whatever you want to call it.
Yes.
You have to invite people to do it and all kinds of crap.
Oh, that's just too much work.
But also we have one separate movie. So we only technically have two movies this week.
Oh, but there's a lot.
But one of them has a lot of encompassing. So do you want to talk about our Netflix movie first and then get into the other?
Yeah, let's do that.
All right. So no, I'm sorry, it's not even Netflix. No. It was Amazon. A movie that we were going to try to see in the theater and it didn't work out for whatever reason. I think it only got limited release. But what movie is it, madam?
It's called Late Night.
Starring?
Nanny McPhee. What's her name?
Emma Thompson.
And I went blank.
She has a TV show named
Mindy Kaling.
God almighty.
Oh, Lord. Sorry.
Mindy Kaling also wrote the film.
Yeah, she did. That was pretty cool. That's awesome. I'm proud for her.
Tell everybody what the movie's about.
So basically, the movie is Nanny McPhee has a late night.
Nanny McPhee is not in this movie. They're going to start thinking like this is a new version of Nanny McPhee.
It's not a new Nanny McPhee.
It is not. The woman has like an entire wealth of filmography, and all you can do is Nanny McPhee.
Okay, fine. What's her real name? Sorry.
Emma Thompson.
Emma Thompson is a late night host.
She's a dame now, right?
She is a dame, just as last year.
Dame Emma Thompson.
Anyway, Dame Emma Thompson is a late night TV show host. But the ratings have started to decline. So is everything. Trying to get her out and get someone else in. And arriving on the scene is Mindy Kaling, who starts off as a writer on the show, and hijinks ensues.
And she's a writer that has no writing experience.
But that's the funny part about it. Isn't that how everybody starts? You got to just go for it.
I've always started with experience.
Do you?
No. So, what did you think, madam?
Gosh, there's a
gigantic dog behind us as he starts to grow. I think he's coming out of your butt.
Oh my gosh! I birthed him.
Okay, now you can sit
sorry.
back
Now I can actually sit down.
This entire time that dog's been laying back there half asleep.
Oh my gosh! Okay.
Anyway, so what did you think of the film?
I really enjoyed the movie. I like Emma Thompson. I like everything she does.
Clearly, you only like that she does Nanny McPhee.
No, she's always good in everything she does, and I really just like her look and her vibe in this one because I feel like they did a little combination of kind of different late night or talk show people.
Yeah, there was some Ellen in there. There was some. There's a writer's room scene that reminded me of a story I heard of Roseanne. I know she's not late night, but it's a similar thing. I don't know if that's where they got it or if it just happens to be a.
And I really like her haircut. She's super cute in this. It was very Devil Wears Prada.
Okay, never mind. He moved. I was squinting my eyes. I could do is see his tail waggling back there.
Well, the cat and the dog just had a little spite.
Oh, is that what was happening?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
But I really enjoyed it, and I really liked her in this character because you got to see her be a strong, funny woman like she is. But then you got to see the other side of the whole late night thing. If they're so concerned about the ratings, which they have to be.
Yeah.
But always coming up with something fresh and something new. And do you go over the line of telling your personal story? Do you not?
Well, and this would touch base on what has happened to a lot of shows when they're on for a really long time. They get stagnant. It becomes the same crap every week. The jokes aren't always as clever as they used to be. The host, you can tell, changes from, like use David Letterman, for instance, who I still think is one of the best late night hosts there ever was. Like, I think he's better than Johnny Carson.
I need to stop a fight happening over here.
What are you doing? Oh, but he went from being a stand-up comedian and then eventually became the David Letterman most people know of and forgot the stand-up aspect of him. And I think he even talked about it he has a Netflix series that he interviews people, and he talks about it in that he shifted his focus so much to be a success for that show and to make that show work that he forgot about everything else.
Yeah.
And this movie kind of does that. It shows that she was more concerned about having the show and being the show and doing a great show, but she was also afraid to show herself. She was trying to show what she thought they needed to see or whatever.
Yeah, when I think it's interesting because it's a combo to me of like 4 different things. You have someone who's probably either been a really good comedian or stand-up. They can really rock the monologue, but they might not be good at interviews.
Right.
Or you've had someone who's really good at interviews, but then they have to figure out how to do a monologue.
See, and this is what I always had not issues with writers, because obviously writers are what make all these things work. But it's always intrigued me, the different writers, because you have to find writers that understand you.
Yeah.
Because if you can't, to tell someone else's joke, they have to be able to write it in your voice.
Right. Well, and those were the other 2 things that she's coming up against. Does she go into her personal life and make it personal so people connect? That way you don't feel like you're just reading a joke. Yeah, but that it really is you.
Yeah, because the way I joke and say things are not the same way you do it.
Right.
And if
you had writers.
If I told you, or if you said something I said to somebody else, your delivery may come off of you're a jerk.
Yeah. But when you do it, it might be funny, or vice versa.
Yeah, so it's we talked about it. It's very much the difference of how you send a text message to somebody, and one person reads it one way,
somebody reads it completely,
and somebody else reads it another way. Like I used to have that issue with one of my jobs, is when I sent an email, perfectly innocent email explaining what was going on and whatever this, thinking it's fine, and I get this insane response like, "What is your problem?" And they read something completely different into what I wrote.
They always do.
But it's because I know what I'm writing. They have to interpret what I'm writing.
Exactly.
So
and it's the same thing with the jokes. And so that's one of the things they're dealing with, is how to make it her voice, but does she go and tell about her life or not? And then the other issue, which I think people go back and forth on, is do they be political or not and go there? And then some people find it funny, but then we get into the mentality we talked about last week where, well, if you're a celebrity, you're not allowed to have a political opinion.
Yeah.
So it goes back and forth. And so what are they to do? I mean, you either got to go for it or not. So
I think in this movie, I think is relevant to not only the late night stuff of there's so many differences. And this one was, I liked that, like you mentioned, that they kind of amalgamated a lot of different ideas. Some of the like, I think a lot of the Ellen stuff is more the visual. Some of the other stuff was more about the way the show is presented and things like that. But it also showcases a very topical aspect of our society that we talked about, like you said the other day, about how celebrities are suddenly not allowed to have an opinion because you're a celebrity. You have to shut up and go. You know, if me and another person are having a discussion about politics or religion or whatever, they don't say, "Man, shut up and go teach your karate class." Right? We can have a discussion, but if Brad Pitt is saying, "There's like, just stick to acting and shut up."
Yeah, exactly.
But as if they're not a person all of a sudden. But sometimes there are people, and this movie does that, where they've kind of forgotten who they are and are trying to be something that they think the public wants them to be, but the reality is not who they are. And I'm not talking about people going, "Yeah, that's why celebrities are suddenly choosing this." I'm not talking about that, because I personally think a lot of times that was the case. I think now most of the celebrities and athletes and people are speaking the opinions that they truly have.
Yeah.
And that's why people are mad.
Yeah.
Because it's not, well, I'm worried about if I'm going to get that next movie, so let me make sure everybody's happy. Because it shouldn't care anymore.
Yeah, and it's such a balancing act. Like, why live your life that way? That seems to be more stressful to me. Like, just be you, and people will like it or they won't. And
well, you know, we talked about. Did we talk about the Dave Chappelle special on the TV Tuesday?
Yeah, we did.
It's gotten a lot of flack.
It has, but then some people are like, "I love it. It was honest."
I thought it was brilliant.
And I thought it was a little like, oosh.
But here's the thing: is it was a little, and that's why I liked it, because I'm not saying I agreed with everything he said.
Yeah, no.
But I agree. One, I believe in the fact that he has the right to say anything he wants. But the title tells you.
Yeah.
It's called Sticks and Stones. He's telling you up front, I'm gonna say whatever the hell I want. You know.
Well, and in the middle, especially, he's like, "Don't be mad. You clicked on my face."
Exactly. And there's one where he's like doing impressions, and I know we're getting on a tangent, but he does impressions and he does this, oh me, and then he goes, "That's y'all." and talking about people's fighting and arguing on Twitter. And they all laughed until he said, "That's you, bitches." Mm-hmm. And then they realized, oh, but that's kind of how the thing is. And this movie does a good thing. Is like you have the jealousy of the writers bringing in a new writer that doesn't have experience.
Yeah.
Then you have the host that's refused to see that the reason they're failing is because of themselves and getting out of their own way. And then somebody else abusing. What is happening?
He's like,
are you just staying back here, sir?
Oh, that's okay, sweet baby. Sweet dog. Anyway, so I thought it was a really good movie.
It is. It's funny. It's heartfelt.
It was relevant, and it dealt with like what do you do with scandal or politics or when all these.
And they're dealing with the female in the workplace situation.
Yes, very
because
much.
Like there's a secret. One of the whole things. The reason they hire her. It's not a spoiler because it's in the trailer kind of, but one of the reasons they hire her because they have no females on the writer staff. It's just white males.
Which is bizarre to me. How can you have a female host and not have female writers to write that voice? That's what. Yeah. That was one of the problems.
There's that aspect they're dealing with. Then it's also a person of color.
Yeah.
Because in case y'all didn't know this, Mindy's Indian.
Well, she's funny. She calls Indian, herself out. She's like, I'm a dark-skinned Indian woman. So it's even a different thing because I found out from our friend Niti, they have the same thing. Did you ask that today? No, but I'd asked her before. They have the same thing, which we've seen in African American culture,
the lighter and the
dark
skin,
Hispanic culture, the light skin and the dark skin. That's a thing too. And
white people have that too, but we're called tan and not tan.
Yeah, I know, but I don't think it's such a big thing like it is.
Oh, we don't judge them. We're just like, Lord have mercy.
People still do that, and I mean, we're not to the point where we don't do that. But see, ourselves.
That's and not at the risk of not going into that vibe. That's the problem with society is cultures fight against whether it's black versus white or Asian versus white or Indian versus Hispanic. It doesn't matter what it is. You can't fight against another culture if you're oppressing your own culture.
Yeah, it's hard.
And if you're fighting about the differences of color in your own people, but you also want to try to stand up for the right. I'm not saying you should, that's your fault, but it makes it harder if we're standing over. It's like voting. If everybody is fighting about different things because of I'm called a Republican or I'm called a Democrat, then you're not fighting about anything.
Yeah.
You're fighting over nonsense. And if you're not going to stay unified, you can't fix the country. You can't fix your race issues. You can't fix your
have a lot of issues
religious issues, whatever it is. So anyway, this movie makes you think.
It does. It's a really
what is happening back here?
I'm being attacked.
Sorry, you can't see it, but the dog is behind her and is.
Well, they saw him crawl up there, maybe.
Yeah, but that 40-pound dog is trying to fit into like a space the size for a Chihuahua, and he's gonna fit.
He will. He'll make himself fit.
Anyway, Late Night did do a little short run at theaters.
It's available now on Amazon.
Yeah, if you have Amazon Prime, it's free. You don't have to pay to rent it. It's part of the thing, so you can check it out. Yeah, it just hit this week.
I liked it.
So I enjoyed it too. It's nothing that's breaking down the mold or anything, but it has so much heart. It has comedy. It has relevance. It has things that make you discuss. It's just a fun movie.
Things that make you go,
Copyright Arsenio Hall.
Yeah. Oh, but I need big long fingers. Arsenio fingers. He makes fun of his own fingers. So he does. It's funny. All right, next.
Anyway, so Late Night.
Next we're going to get into a good discussion.
Oh, right. So this next one is we only saw one new film outside of Late Night, but there's a lot to talk about. But this one film, he is determined to get fully comfortable back there. So let's take it back. He gave you a look like, lady, I'm here.
I'm trying to help you get comfortable.
Well, what we're going to do is before we talk about the new one, we're going to take it back.
Take it back.
Take it back. So what we're going to be discussing is the big movie this weekend, which is It Chapter 2. Or, as I've said, Bobby's choking and this is the end.
Get your water.
It Chapter 2. But before we talk about the new film, we're going to revert back to the original film. What was it, 1986? I always forget.
Are you comfortable?
Hold on. Stop hitting me. Stop touching me. Stop touching me.
Let me get up.
It could be 1990. Was it 1990? I thought it was the 80s. Oh, 1980s. No. Maybe it was. I don't remember them.
There. Are you comfortable now?
Oh, no. He's thinking about 1986. So maybe it was 1990. Anyway.
I hope y'all can't see me.
Of course they can see me. You stop bothering the dog. It's honey. Just make him get up.
Move on.
I'm sorry. Our entire show has been derailed because of the dog. Okay. Get back over here.
Sorry.
Anyway, we're going to talk about the original It miniseries first.
Over there.
Did you just yell at him in Spanish?
No.
Oh.
Here,
in case you don't know, can you get back with the show, man?
But the dog does speak Spanish.
This is really hard to do a show with you doing all kinds of.
What year was it?
I don't even know anymore.
Let's go.
The book was 1986. I believe this was 1990. So anyway, this was originally a TV miniseries. It's like 3-4 hours long, something like that. It had a great cast. Let's tell you who was on the cast. Harry Anderson from Night Court.
Yep.
Dennis Christopher from something.
From something.
Richard Mauser from something. Annette O'Toole. You know Annette O'Toole.
Uh-huh.
Tim Reed, the late great John Ritter, and Richard Thomas, aka Henry Thomas.
Well, there was also
Tim Curry as the lovable It, the clown. So this is one of those Stephen King movies that was kind of has a hardcore following. What?
But also,
I know the kid version.
The kid version was like a young Seth Green.
I know, and Emily Perkins and all them other people.
Yeah,
but,
so they were.
But it has a hardcore cult following. So they've been talking for years about making a feature-length version in the theater, rated R horror version of the same thing that had only been kind of done in the miniseries. And it started and it failed, and I forgot that there was an Asian gentleman. I don't remember his name. But he was going to do the movie, and then he left the movie. But he wrote it. I think they still used part of his script, and I think he was still the executive producer. So they jump ahead to whatever year this was. Now I don't remember anything. I'm like not prepared today. This special edition show is throwing me off. Hold on. Anyway, a couple years ago,
wow,
they put out It, which was just called It, but now it's effectively would be It Chapter 1.
Part 1, yes.
And they broke the film up into 2 stories, the kid versions of the story and the adult versions of the story. The miniseries is kind of the same way. Neither one of us have ever read the book, but I know the book story. I know a lot of the ins and outs. I know the controversy. I know about the kid orgies and all the stuff that's in the book that's not necessarily in the film. Yes. From what I've also always heard or been told, that I believe in the book it alternates between both stories at the same time.
Yeah.
I don't believe it's told in separate sections, but if I'm wrong,
I like it in separate sections.
If I'm wrong, feel free to post here because, like I said, I've never read the book. So anyway, so let's talk about this. Let's talk about the first one first. Now, we didn't get a chance to rewatch this like we're going to right now, but you have seen this. Mm-hmm. When we talked about the first It coming out and we rewatched this.
Tom Boy?
Yes, that's Henry Thomas.
Okay.
Richard Thomas, excuse me. Not Henry Thomas, but Richard Thomas. Henry Thomas is somebody else. But
yeah.
Well, I'll go in, aka Henry Thomas. Not the same person.
Okay.
But the original one, we watched this, and the funny thing to cut for people that didn't see that episode is, what is the first thing you remember about this when we watched it?
I know someone in the movie.
Yeah, she goes, I know that. I went to school with that kid.
I went to school with the kid that played. Hold on. He played.
We'll wait.
This kid. That guy.
Is his name Adam?
His name's Adam, but I'm trying to see who was his character in the thing.
Well, why don't you go to the
Let me go to the
cast
main
list. Hold on. She goes to, I wish y'all could see what she does. She goes the dumbest routes to get to anything.
No, I was there and then I clicked out, but I didn't mean to. He played Eddie.
Okay, so she went to school with the original little kid that played Eddie.
Yeah, and I didn't know that until I watched the movie. I didn't even know he was an actor. I guess I just didn't pay attention.
But then you said you remember making a big deal about him back then.
I guess so.
Isn't that what you said? You said something that you had started hearing that he was in a movie or something.
Yeah,
but
I didn't pay attention.
Anyway,
I was a nerd.
So what did you think of what you remember now? Because I know it's been a little while since you watched this, a couple of years now.
Yes.
What did you think of the original miniseries? Because you saw it for the first time a couple of years ago.
Yeah, just a couple of years ago when this first movie came out. I really liked it. I thought it was really good. I liked the story. I like most Stephen King things. I do think he's a little obsessed with alien creatures. But that's only because the only other book I read was Tommy Knockers, and that was aliens too. But no, I liked it. I thought it was really good. And it's funny because going into the new movie, I'm like, aren't they already at the restaurant? But I was remembering this one.
We were talking about this.
So confused.
So yeah, she started asking me questions about that. And I'm like, no, that's in this section.
But I did like it, and I like that. It was a miniseries, which is fine. But I like the feel of we're in the 80s because it was like very 80s and the feel of it, and so I thought it was really good.
In the new films, the dates are altered, obviously.
Yeah.
Because I think the early part takes place in the 80s, and then the new part takes place now.
Yeah.
Where in that one it was further back, 70s into 80s.
Yeah, so it had a really good look and feel, and I liked Pennywise in that, and I feel like the monster in that
Tim Curry
was maybe a little cheesy, but they did what they could with
if I
what
remember correctly, a lot of people, that was the one problem they had with the movie was the way
at the very end,
the spiderish looking thing.
Yeah, it was just a little bit odd.
And then they handle it way differently in the new film, from what I fully remember. But and then if anybody's read the book, if you can tell me in comparison to the original one to the new one, if either one of those follows closer to the book description, it'd be interesting to know. All right, so we're gonna jump on ahead to it. We revisited it chapter 1 before obviously going for the new one.
The new one.
I love this movie.
I did too. I really liked it, and I like the main little kid that plays Bill. Is that his name? I like him.
Is that Bill? Is Bill the main one?
Yeah, I think
I always forget.
You need to get it together, buddy. Let's go look it up. 2017. So that's the first time I've seen the original.
Yeah. So, I guess in comparison to the two different Pennywises, because they're polar opposite. They're not opposite. They're totally different.
They're just different.
Do you prefer one over the other?
I kind of prefer the new one because I like the.
Yeah, there's a video that I can't post now, but she does an impression. She'll probably do it multiple times as we're discussing it. So you'll get to see it.
I like this one, I think, but maybe because I don't know.
This is your Pennywise.
This is my Pennywise, like before the other one. The other one's fine.
Here's the thing:
he did a great job.
I love Tim Curry and everything Tim Curry does.
I like the eyebrows on that one.
Tim Curry creeped me out with the original. The thing I think works better for me in this new one, I look at them as two separate things.
Yeah.
So I can love them both equally. But I think with the new guy, the nuances are creepier.
Yes.
I think the old style version of his clown makes him creepier.
Yes, and for us in this time period.
Yeah, whereas Tim Curry's Pennywise just looked like kind of a Bozo the Clown kind of thing, which makes it creepy because if you grew up on the Bozo the Clown show, you're like, oh my God. And I actually know somebody that did. If you ever watched the Bozo the Clown show back in the day, they had the remember where they throw the ball into the buckets to win prizes?
Yes.
I know somebody that was on that.
Yep.
You know them too.
Yeah, I do.
And so think of the fact that they could have been on that show and then all of a sudden he turned and bit his head off makes Tim Curry's version a little creepier.
Yeah.
But I love the way Skarsgård plays this version of Pennywise. I love the random drool that hangs out of his mouth. I love the weird little chiclet teeth. The fact that he can cross his eyes the opposite directions in real life. In case you don't know, that's his real eyes. Those are not CGI. Bill Hader talked about him. Oh, I love how they do that. They do that CGI. He's like, you mean this? And he moved his eyes to opposite directions.
That's creepy.
So
creepy.
So let's jump into the new one.
We're looking at it. I think
they're both crazy looking.
They're both creepy, but I do like the look of the newer one. I think because he's wearing kind of the Victorian clown costumes, which is creepier to me.
Right.
Because anything from
the lines that they use from his mouth from here, make the Joker-esque smile.
And you find out in the new one why that happened.
Yeah, it makes it more enhanced, and it adds a line to his face. Where, like I said, with Tim Curry's version works so well because of Tim Curry.
Yes, that's
like he's not relying on that clown makeup. Yeah. He's Tim Curry, and Tim Curry is just awesome.
He's amazing.
And he, being a theater actor and everything that he is. He could play that role with or without the makeup, and you'd still be creeped out or buy into it.
This guy's just...
He looks polar opposite when you take him out of the makeup, but he adds so much kind of creepy, not just the way he stands with his head down. And
I just thought it was... So I prefer the newer Pennywise. Not that I prefer any clown, because clowns are creepy.
All right, well, let's just jump into the new one, okay? So we've kind of cut up. We like them both. Now, the sequel, if you don't know... I don't know why you would be watching the show if you don't know already. But the sequel now follows 27 years later, catching up with all the same kids, but now they're adults, obviously. And they had made a pact at the end of the other one that when he comes back, or if he came back, they would all meet back there to stop him.
Yes.
What are you doing over here?
I have no idea where that came at.
You're over here. She's just looking at random photos now. That has nothing to do with our show. So what before we go into the movie itself, what were your expectations, concerns, thoughts going into the new one, outside of the fact that you didn't want to go see it?
I didn't want to see it because I am scared of clowns. Like I think a great number of people in the world, that's a real phobia thing.
Which is silly.
I know. But I was looking forward to it. I was looking forward to see how they did the newer versions. Like I didn't know who all the adults were. So
you didn't know who was in it?
No, I knew Professor X,
John McAvoy,
and
James McAvoy.
That's the only people knew. I didn't realize the guy from My Beauty and the Beast show was going to be in it. I guess I knew Bill Hader was there, but I didn't. And I didn't realize that
Who's the guy from the Beauty and the Beast show? Was he the chubby kid growing up?
Yeah, James.
Okay, I know I recognized him, but I didn't watch that show.
Yeah, well, I was a fan, and I've only seen him on that TV show. I've never seen him in a movie, so I was excited to see him. Jay Ryan, and then I didn't realize that the guy from the deodorant thing was going to be
Isaiah Mustafa.
Like,
what's funny is
that him?
Well, what's funny, we come out because I was telling her, I was like, well, did you know that apparently Idris Elba was up for that part at one point too? And she goes, they should have got the Old Spice guy. I was like, that's who that was.
His face didn't look, because I guess maybe I'm used to him being like super buff.
Yeah, he might have chubbed up a little bit.
He was a little chubby in this.
It got like chubby, not chubbed up.
No. Oh my goodness, I just got what you said. Cut that out.
Twin purse all over again.
Oh Lord. Anyways, I was excited because I didn't know. I always, you guys know this by now, or you may not if you're a new viewer. I try to only watch one preview for a movie, and I don't want to see anything else because I don't want to have any preconceived ideas or thoughts, because when that happens,
and she doesn't have any thoughts anyway.
I'm very disappointed when things like that happen.
Well, see, here's the thing: is I know there was a lot of discussion and arguments. What is wrong with you?
Oh, there's a cat crying. Sorry.
Okay.
I was like,
were your Hispanic senses
tingling? My spidey sense was tingling.
Her tamale senses were tingling. But there were a lot of people concerned with the second half, because the first one, most people, to my knowledge, more people enjoyed it than didn't. And I think a lot of people that hated it just because they loved the original and didn't want to like this one. But whatever. Everybody has their own opinions.
You're allowed to like.
But one of the problems with the second one that was a lot of fear was the reason the first movie worked so well is because it was so fun to watch those kids.
Yeah.
And when you now put adults, that can take away some of the fun and the innocence. But also, could these adults capture the essence of the kids and make you believe that these are the people they grew up to be?
Yeah.
And going into it, I heard some rumors and I looked at them and was like, some of them I could see, some I couldn't. And so I had a little bit of concern too. But what was your thoughts as far as that connection? Because that's a major deal when you're doing a sequel like this that's dealing with grown-up versions of people we already saw. We know how they act. We know their personalities. Yeah. We got to believe that, because you grow up, you don't lose in complete personality you had as a child.
No, actually, I was in a class and found out that by age 6, who you are is already who you are. You're going to be.
Man, I was a perverted 6-year-old then.
Guess what? You still are, bud.
Huh?
You still are, buddy.
That's what I'm saying. That's totally missed the point.
I know. I got it. No, that's what I'm saying. Your personality, your reasoning, your problem solving is already set by that age. So that's who you are. I mean, so it's interesting. I really did want Molly Ringwald because she looked just like Molly Ringwald. But I get what you're saying. At this point in her life, she wouldn't at all look like this. So Jessica Chastain was a really good choice. Unless you're that one girl that hates Jessica Chastain.
No, I have not watched anything with her in months. Good. I'm proud of myself. I've avoided her.
I'm so happy.
I was trying to bring happiness to my life and no more of her dumb nonsense. Now I'm going to go watch it just to yell. Now I just want to know what she thinks of it, chapter 2.
She's going to hate it because she's in it.
Sorry. Anyway, what's funny is I think after they made the first one, they asked the kids who they would like to play them as adults.
That's cute.
Jessica Chastain was one of them. That the girl said. I think it was Bill Hader was the other one.
Nice.
And they named it. Those were the only two that actually
made it.
And there was originally a sequence shot. Well, not shot. Was going to be shot for a tag to the end of this movie, to the first movie.
Yeah.
There was be like an after credit scene that it was going to be the person receiving the phone call that you see in the new movie about coming back home, and you were going to pan around and it was going to show Jessica Chastain. But they said they couldn't work out the logistics of her schedule. I'm sure she was working on Dark Phoenix at the time and whatever else. So I don't know how far that got. I was just reading an interview recently with the director. So anyway, so how do you think these new people did?
I think they did a great job. I really liked it. And I think everyone was believable as a character. There's that one guy that looked exactly like the little kid.
The one with the germs and whatnot?
Yes, probably. And then, Professor X didn't really look like Bill, but I don't think it matters.
Well, I think if you go look at our page for the review.
Was there another picture?
Well, go look at our website.
Yeah, I'm there.
On the review page for that movie. There's character posters that put both their faces together.
Oh, okay, that's what I was trying to find.
If you just look at our website.
HollywoodMatrimony.com.
Scroll down to it. and you click on each one. And those images, you can hold on.
So good. He looks just like you, the bar mitzvah kid.
Stan.
See, yeah, that's Jay Ryan.
And see, and he's still, even Ben still looks a little bit like him. He's got a similar eyes.
Yeah.
Even though he's lost all the weight now.
Yeah. Hold on, Stanley. That's the one.
So I think they cast him perfect visually.
And it's interesting to me that as you are introduced to the new characters and you look at them, their mannerisms are actually very much like the kids.
Yeah, and if you want to see the pictures we were just looking at,
I'll post the link.
We were having our own private viewing over here on our website at
HollywoodMatrimony.com.
If you go to the It Review, which she'll share it, there is a little gallery of these posters, and it kind of uses a balloon to split screen the adult actor and the child actor, and you just kind of see
it is really cool.
How they matched them up really well.
They did a good job.
And this is one of the few times I've seen or that I know about in a movie where they had to de-age children.
Yeah, because you could tell Ben, he was a little chunky kid. You could tell he was like a little bit bigger.
Yeah, they talked about,
everybody else could kind of.
It had been like 2 years or whatever since they made the movie.
The kids grow like so fast.
They had to do some de-aging and stuff, just the flashback sequences.
Yeah, because he's the one that I could tell looked older. The rest of them, they looked kind of similar to how they looked originally. Right. But yeah, no, and kids grow up so fast.
My personal opinion is Bill Hader stole the movie. I thought Bill Hader was so good. Bill Hader's kind of recently, he's always been known as the funny guy.
Yeah.
But he's got that show Barry. He's done a few other things that's kind of getting him a chance to. But this is his first horror film. It's the first time that I think he's got to step out. Nasty. Cochina. Bless you. That he's got to step out and do something full on, all in. And he had to go through a wide range of emotions. He had to capture his character, is a silly, smart-ass mouth one.
Yeah.
He had to do that stuff, but also show feelings or whatever. So I thought the whole cast did awesome.
Sorry.
Really still. Do you know how to work a computer?
No.
So
anyways, yeah. No, I thought that was
I'm not
good.
Doing the show by myself.
You're not doing the show by yourself. I mean, he was good. I think throughout the whole thing, the most important character becomes Bev.
Oh yeah.
I mean, because she's the one that in the first movie saw the lights, and she has the premonition of what's going to happen. But it's interesting how everybody forgets, and then they come back. And I mean,
are you starting to forget? You were starting to slow down, like you were stroking out.
No, because I was like, that's just such an interesting part of the story. But that Mustafa had stayed there, so he remembered Mr. Mustafa. And so,
Mr. Mustafa,
yeah, no, I guess I forgot that part of the story from the original one,
right,
which now makes sense. But it's interesting once you get back, you become hero. Okay, who is your favorite character in the whole movie? Because I'm gonna tell you who mine is. I see if you pick it.
Like the entire film.
The entire film, the new one.
Are we talking about the main cast too, or just in general?
Everything in general. Guess who I'm gonna pick as my favorite character?
That old lady.
The old lady. I love that creepy old lady. You see her in the trailer, and she's all like,
she just smiles.
I mean, it's so creepy. I want to know everything about this woman. I don't know who she is. I don't know what she's done, but I want to know everything about her because she is creepy. And her part, I guess, it's kind of important to the story, but not really.
Her herself isn't as important.
But what you find out about her family and the history of the town, and I'm just like, what? And she was creepy. And it was creepy. And I was just like, no.
Well, did you know that there's one big cameo that obviously you noticed?
This lady. Oh, I knew it before I even saw it. I told you.
But there's another cameo in the movie that you may not have caught.
Oh.
That one of the original Loser Club kids.
Joan Gregson.
One of the original Loser Club kids, I believe the chubby kid, is in the movie as well.
Oh, is he?
He's in the beginning. Yeah, he's got a cameo part in it.
Oh, I'm gonna have to go watch the movie.
And the story goes, from what I read from the interview with him, it was something, I don't know if it was Instagram or Twitter, but he posted about them doing it. Hey, I looking forward to seeing the movie or something, over to the director and said, would love to get a cameo or something. I don't remember how it was. And the director started saying, we'd love to get you in for a cameo and this and that. He's like, haha. And then he finally's like, somebody's trolling me. You know this? And the director says, I am the troll and I want you to come here and do this. And so the whole thing became
Why didn't they get all the kids in it somehow?
Well, I don't know.
All the original kids.
I don't know.
Anyways.
There was rumors, I think, at one point Seth Green was supposed to be there, and I want to say I read that they couldn't work out a schedule, but I don't know if that's accurate or not. I may not be accurate on that. I don't know.
That'd be interesting.
Anyway.
He looks exactly the same.
He's the same size too.
Oh,
we love Seth Green. I will say that I don't think this chapter is as creepy, scary as the first one.
Not at all.
But I think it's also because you knew what you were getting into. Because like there's some elements that kind of repeat or rehash, but that's part of the design of Pennywise tormenting them or making them go through the same thing again. Yeah. I think this one was more about, I don't think you got as much Pennywise this time around. It was more about, and I was fine with that. I know some people have complained about that. I was fine because I enjoyed seeing them split away and all have their own stories.
Yeah.
And then come together.
It's still him tormenting them.
I know, but it wasn't as much of
physically the clown.
Yeah.
I see.
And when we did get him, it was because there's those other characters. There's the bully character that comes back. There's the little zombie type creatures or whatever. There's a lot of other elements that torment them, and it's just, even though he's the involvement of it, it's not just the clown standing in front of you all the time.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this: like, I know my vision, but if you had to pick chapter 1 or chapter 2, which one do you prefer?
Well, I like chapter 2 because it wraps up the story. As far as scariness, chapter 1.
The show's not that long, so we can get it.
Scariness, chapter 1. Happiness, chapter 2.
I like them equally because I think they're one film.
Yeah, that's true. And if we could watch it all, let's watch them all at once.
I've also heard that they are going to release, or they're working on trying to release a supercut of it together. I don't know if it would be a theatrical release. That'd be like 5 hours.
It'd be too long.
Because the new one is like 3 hours long, and I think this one's almost 2.5, if not almost 3 hours as well.
Yeah.
So that'd be 5 to 6 hours.
That's okay.
But I guess if people sit through 21 hours of Marvel marathon, they can sit through 5 hours of
this too. Yeah. No, I really liked the new one. I mean, and I agree. I feel like you have to watch them.
It was getting torn up a little bit in some of the reviews. It was really surprising. But it was one of those that was like, the reviews from the critics were bad on some of them. But the reviews from the audience scores were massive.
Yeah.
Positive.
No, I liked it. I think the cool thing about the new one, though, is in comparison to the original, we're able to do so much more now with technology and the look. And
I love the version at the end of this way more.
Of the monster?
Yeah. Like as much as I love the original because I love practical effects, I love
I do too,
the creature direction they went. I like the direction they went with this one because it gave you more of the character. It gave you a little more interaction ability. It was more than just like sliminess. You got all that too, but it was just a little bit different.
Yeah, I mean, and you get the big, whatever, I guess it is, alien.
Well, don't spoil it for people.
Haven't you seen the original?
Some people haven't.
Spider.
It's like a big creature thing at the end.
That's a monster, I guess.
You just ruined the entire
thing for
people. Yeah, some people don't know anything about it.
My bad. You should have watched the original one.
Don't pull that crap.
That was from the 80s.
Some of the people that are watching these movies now weren't even alive then.
Oh, well, go watch it.
Half these people. Remember, today we just found out that Post Malone just made Ozzy Osbourne famous. How stupid is that? My son sends me a text. This has nothing to do with it, but this pisses me off. Some people are so stupid in knowledge of the music world, and you don't have to be fans, but have common freaking sense. And this happened with Paul McCartney and Kanye West.
Yes, I remember.
And Post Malone did a new song with Ozzy Osbourne. Don't care if you like Post Malone or not. It's not the point of the story. So I don't need a bunch of comments. Post Malone sucks, or I hate Ozzy Osbourne. It doesn't matter. But then now people are sharing the thing. Oh, who's this Ozzy Osbourne? Post Malone just put him on the map. Like, Ozzy Osbourne's going to retire before Post Malone finishes anything.
Yeah.
And it's just these stupid people. Like, look up somebody's name first. Like before you type something out. Like if I see somebody do a duet with somebody and I'm like, who is this? I've never heard of this person. I like them or they're good or whatever. Yeah. Why is this famous person doing a song with this person I've never heard of? I'm going to go look up that person and be like, holy crap, have you seen this filmography? Have you seen this music list, his CDs and the concerts and all the movies that this music has appeared in and blah, blah, blah. And you've had that instance, not the stupid stuff, but where you hear music in a movie and then you hear it somewhere in the media and you're like, oh, I didn't know that's who that was. Or, and I've heard the same thing.
But I don't go post about like, oh no, my gosh. I'm just
I still find it funnier with the whole Kanye West and Paul McCartney that Kanye West made Paul McCartney famous.
Whatever.
That's just people are stupid. Anyway, okay, so now the big question.
Go see it, chapter 2.
The big question. The original series or the new series?
I like the new one just because of the technology, the makeups, the effects, and the costuming.
Okay. The old cast or the new cast?
Oh. I'm going to pick the new one. I mean, I love John
Poor John Ritter has passed away, and you can't even give him his credit after he's dead.
I like the new one. I really do. I'm so drawn to it. I mean, I like the original one. I think it's important. Obviously, but I do like the new one. What?
What? Someone like talking about the music? They're supposed to damn kids.
They don't know anything. I like the new one. I really do. And yeah.
You got nothing else to say. You're just not farting it out at this point.
No, I'm just telling you. I like the new one.
All right.
It is creepy.
It chapter 2 is in theaters now. It's Bring Your Diaper. It's like 3 hours long, but it didn't feel like 3 hours to me at all.
It didn't feel long at all.
No, I mean it feels like, and I like the 3 hour mark because it gives you time to flesh out stuff. It didn't feel rushed.
Yep.
It didn't feel like they were just trying to get to the point. It felt like there's a sequence. It's not a spoiler, but it's a sequence at the Chinese restaurant.
Yeah.
That you thought already happened.
I thought it already happened because I was
remembering
the first movie.
But it allows them just to visit and hang out and see them read
Which I did like.
Then you kind of feel invested with the characters again. So,
yeah, you do.
So anyway, moving on.
All right. Well,
so those are pretty much the main things. Sadly, we didn't have time for Gymkata again. Someday we'll talk about Gymkata. But what we can talk about are prizes.
Ooh, I like prizes.
We can talk about prizes.
Free stuff?
Free stuff, free stuff, free stuff.
Okay, what do I do for free stuff?
So you go to our website.
Ooh, okay.
And you click on the word contests.
I'm going to go there right now.
And on the word contest, there's a drop-down list of different giveaways. There's one giveaway that's not on there yet. It'll be up there later today or tomorrow. But what you do is when you click on that, you read it. You don't look at the pictures and go shiny colors. You read it.
Pretty pictures.
And it tells you the first couple paragraphs you can probably ignore because it's more about the movie. But the third paragraph tells you what you got to go click on. If you're already subscribing to our pages, then you can ignore all that stuff. But I do check, so don't be trying to cheat. But then it tells you, asks you the question, you answer the question. Simple as that. But you got to email it to me. To an email address. That's on the front page of the website. And the contest tells you, go to the front page. We've made it so easy, it says email us. You hit the button, the rest is history. So we won't tell you why I'm giving it back. They know. We currently have 3 contests going.
I'm very excited about
with a 4th one popping up. One, we have Star Wars Resistance, the complete first season. I've got multiple copies of this, so multiple people will be winning this. Season 2, I think, starts October 6th. Sadly, it's also the final season. But this first season kind of is dealing around Force Awakens simultaneously, where I think the second season leads in between The Last Jedi leading into The Rise of Skywalker. So it's kind of connecting it all. So giving away Star Wars Resistance, the complete first season. Nice. That's a lovely one.
There's a couple of those, so you could win one.
Yeah, there's plenty.
This one I'm excited. You want me to sing?
I, in fact, do not want to
I'm going
sing. To. We're giving away some digital copies. Apparently, this is an all Disney month. We're giving away a copy of the Walt Disney Signature Edition of Aladdin. This is the crap I live with.
You ain't never had a friend like me.
Thank God. Anyway, we're giving away digital copies of the Walt Disney Signature Collection edition of Aladdin. It's not only does it have the normal movie, the new transfer. It's got the original bonus features, but also some new bonus features. We're also giving away in the spirit of Aladdin. Mm-hmm. We're giving away a digital copy of the new live action Aladdin as well. Nice. These are 2 separate contests. You don't enter one and get both. You can enter both of them. And you can pause me because I might have a few of these. I might be nice enough to just send everybody a copy of each.
I want one.
But you got to enter. Okay. You're getting a Blu-ray of both.
Cool.
So anyway.
And I can skip the ones I don't like.
Exactly. But giving away a digital copy. Remember, these are digital copies. These are not Blu-rays or DVDs. These are digital copies. The Movies Anywhere app or whatever. Yeah, Movies Anywhere. But then you can watch it anywhere in the world, but live action. And the one contest that's not up there right now, is we're going to be giving away a copy of Hawaii Five-0, the complete 9th season. If you've never watched the show, then you probably don't care about the season 9. But if you have watched the show or just like the show or you missed it, you can check it out. This season also marked the 200th episode of the series. Mm-hmm. We actually really like the show.
I do like the show.
Yeah, it's one of the. I was not a huge fan of Hawaii Five-0. I know you said your dad was or whatever.
Yes, the original.
Yeah, and it's the original. If you've never watched the show, and he
started watching this, and he likes Danny.
Does he?
He does.
If you've never watched the show, it is not a remake of the original show. It's a continuation.
It's a continuation because you find out. Is it a spoiler to say how it's related to the first show?
No, not at 9 seasons. I don't think it's a spoiler anymore.
Okay, so basically, this is the son of the guy from the first show.
Is it son or the grandson?
Grandson.
Because his dad.
It's the grandson.
Yeah. And it's funny
but his dad was like a cop too.
Or I don't remember if that's how it's anyway. But there's like one of the main patrol officers that's in every single episode. Yes. Played a patrol officer in the original series. And so he's playing the same character. They brought in some people that played villains or bad guys in the original series to reprise their roles to play characters in this one. Who is it? James Caan showed up. I think he played on the original show at some point.
So that's why.
His son is Dano.
That's who my dad likes because he has problems with
he doesn't like because all of his craziness.
Yes, he's too crazy.
And your dad likes him because he always gives him lectures.
And my dad's like, oh, Dano. Okay.
Anyway, I was a little concerned. I'm not gonna lie when the two they had the little uproar and the two Asian Daniel Day Kim and I forgot her name. Crap. Anyway, when they left the show, but the two new people, they've been doing a really good job. It carries it. I hate to see the other ones go, but anyway. So we got 4 contests can be happening. This one's not up yet, but it will be. We got Star Wars Resistance Season 1, Hawaii Five-0 Season 9, and Aladdin.
Grace Park is who you were thinking.
Huh?
You were thinking Grace Park.
But
I do like.
I love Grace Park.
But I like the new girl from
Megan Rath, or whatever her name is.
What was that
Being Human.
Being Human. I like that show.
But I like Grace Park from Battlestar Galactica, and I liked her on the show.
And I liked what's his name too. I mean, this is such a great show, and there's a lot. The interesting thing is there are some like celebrity type cameos, and you find out how they're kind of related to all this. It's cool. Anyway, check it out. We're giving
away all those. And what's coming out this coming week on the Blu-ray and the DVD?
Let me know.
Hold on, there's a few things. Well, one of them I can guarantee is going to be Hawaii Five-0. The complete 9th season is coming out this week on DVD. We also got SEAL Team, the complete 2nd season, which is another great show.
I do like that. I
like this show. I like the way they
I love Angel. Hashtag David Boreanaz.
Yeah, he didn't respond to my tweet on this review this time. But I tell you what, I've gotten more hits on this review than anything in a while.
That's a really good show.
I had someone share our review of this, and they just like, this right here is a good review.
Thank you.
And so it gets more. So,
but no, you should check it.
SEAL Team.
We should talk about that on TV Tuesday.
Maybe we shall.
It's a great show. So relevant.
The Dead Don't Die is coming to Blu-ray and DVD.
You like that?
I love this movie.
Is that the one with the bad vampires?
No, this is the one where Adam Driver and Bill Murray are cops and the zombies. And he goes,
he's like, I think that's a zombie.
He goes, thinking zombies. Yeah. And he's like, ghouls. Makes me laugh every time he says, you need to watch it. I'm interested to see if you even like it.
Okay.
Because this is an acquired taste movie.
I probably will.
And nobody has a sense.
Or I might not.
Nobody has a sense of urgency in this movie. Everybody's just like, well, there's another murder. Mm-hmm. So it's very funny and it's kind of weird and bizarre and quirky. It's almost like the world of Napoleon Dynamite in the world of zombies. It's very bizarre. Anyway, this is coming out. We also have Supernatural, the complete 14th season is coming out this week.
Yeah.
Leading up to its 15th and final season, I believe.
Ooh, they've been trying to quit since season 8 or 9.
It was only supposed to go 7 seasons.
They've been trying to stop it.
And also, your big movie this week, John Wick 3 is coming to Blu-ray and DVD. Parabellum.
I loved it.
I'm more looking forward on that one. As much as I love the movie, the behind-the-scenes stuff.
No, you know what I want to do? I want to watch all 3 of them straight in a row.
Okay, well, you can do whatever you want. But I'm talking about...
But I agree.
I can't. I want to see all the behind-the-scenes of the action, the fighting, and putting stuff together, and the talking about how they do it. And there's like this bonus things. I just saw it the other day, but they're promo things. It's this guy doing like interviews, and it's like try to find John Wick, and it's like talking about it's like a little mini shorts. There's also the John Wick mobile promo thing that's going around with different like prizes or whatever. Sadly, it's not coming to Dallas, so I didn't promote it as much. But that's coming around. And those are the big ones that are hitting this week, I believe. Let me double check, make sure I'm not missing anything, Earls. That looks like it.
Okay. Coming out at the theaters. I'm excited for this because it's my girl, Hustlers, starring Jennifer Lopez. And she's a stripper. So we're going to know who else is in this movie besides Jennifer Lopez? Who's in it?
I actually do know.
No, I don't know.
Keke Palmer's in it.
Wow.
Candace Wu from Crazy Rich Asians.
Yes.
Cardi B.
Constance Wu.
Constance, yeah. Cardi B.
Oh, well, she was a stripper.
Julia Stiles.
Julia Stiles being a stripper?
I don't think she's a stripper. I think she probably works at like a post office or something.
Okay.
I don't know.
You know what? I love Julia Stiles. I don't think anyone else does, but I'm aware
that you love
I don't think you were ever a man.
I don't think that either.
Stupid pictures that come up on the internet. I love Julia Stiles. I always will.
Take it. I don't think that either.
Take that. But you've seen all those photos, right?
I'm
so dumb. Anyways, and then another one I'm looking forward to, completely different end of the spectrum.
Oh my God.
The Goldfinch.
I was looking forward to that one too, but I'm not going to be able to go to the screen.
I'm going to see it on Tuesday, I believe.
So, yeah.
And it's interesting. All I know is there's a painting,
and
a bomb,
there's a finch,
and a guy.
And it's gold.
Yeah.
And you're going after it.
Then on Netflix, there are 2 movies coming out on Netflix. One is called Tall Girl.
Is that a movie? Or I thought that was a series, but okay.
It says it's a movie.
Sweet. Okay.
And then also one called Unbelievable.
I don't believe it.
So this one I think is going to cause a lot of stir.
Unbelievable.
Because it's a girl who
is unbelievable.
Who says she was raped, but then she changes her story and kind of everything that unfolds after that. So I think that one's going to be really good. Also on Netflix that I missed, I started watching. Well, next time, Falling in Love, about the girl that wins the inn.
Oh God!
So and falls in love in New Zealand, obviously. So there you go. That's what's happening.
All right.
What you got?
Well, one of the big news is next Sunday for Hollywood Matrimony Live, we will be coming live from Mississippi.
Yes, I'm so excited.
I don't know really if that's an even exciting thing to tell people.
It is.
We'll be live from Mississippi.
In Mississippi.
I am going to be going out as a guest to the Golden Triangle Comic Con in Mississippi as an artist. Go figure, fool someone. But if you're watching us and you're in the Mississippi area, come over to the show. It's at the college. Looks like it's a fun little show. I think it's been going on for a little bit. Yeah. It looks like it's focused mostly on comics, which that's always fun. But we're going to be out there, so we'll be doing our show live from Mississippi Hotel. I'm assuming.
We'll be how you're saying Mississippi.
Mississippi Hotel. MISSISSIPPI.
There you go.
M-I crooked letter I, humpback I.
There you go.
Mississippi. This is also the famed place where the missus and I drove to a Popeyes, and they said,
"What's your favorite drink?"
And we told them.
And I'm like,
and in context, and be like, "Why is that funny?" We were in drive-through ordering food, and instead of saying, "What would you like to drink?" they said,
"What's your favorite drink?"
And we looked at each other and like, not really
Dr. Pepper and a Sprite. And that's what happened.
And now, if I don't have somebody ask me that when I'm returned to Mississippi, I'm going to be very upset.
I know, so we'll find out. I'm excited because the town where we're going is where they filmed an episode of Hotel Hell with Gordon Ramsay.
Right, and we tried to stay there, but
the hotel was booked. But we're going to go there.
Have you double-checked it to see if it's unbooked now?
I haven't, but I don't think I can change my reservation. My date was...
Think it's too late?
Yeah, it is.
Double-check.
I'll check.
We'll check.
Anyway, so we're going to go. There's a couple of museums, and we're finally going to get to go to a Longhorn Steakhouse because they have one there.
We've been to one. We went to one somewhere else.
Did?
Yeah.
Well, they have a Logan's whatever, too.
What's funny is I got a gift card one time. I don't remember if it was from work or somebody. Anyway, somebody gave me a gift card. But it was just steakhouses that are nowhere around here.
But I think one of them.
Remember we found out that a different restaurant was connected to that same thing that we could go to.
Yeah.
But we held on to it for almost a year because we could. I'm like, we're never. Well, usually when we travel, every time we traveled, we never found it.
But we found it.
And then we found out one day the conglomerate name connected to other stuff. We're like, oh well, crap, I could use this.
Yeah.
So anyway,
so random. We'll be live from Mississippi.
Yes, and we may do some little posts from the show, tell you how it's going.
We're doing a road trip, so I'm so excited.
Yeah, so you might have some. There might be some Facebook Live stuff on a road trip, kind of like when we were coming back from Chicago and we were travels. So who knows what we'll see? Because since we're driving, we're gonna probably stop along the way for random nonsense.
On the way back, we're gonna stop at the alligator farm.
And if we stop at the alligator farm, there is always a possibility of something wacky gonna happen because this
guy wants to touch all the animals.
I touch things. And the last time we stopped,
touch back.
And the last time we touched an alligator farm, I got attacked by a llama. And I'm not talking about it snapped, and it kicked the shit out of me.
It did. It knocked you down and jumped on top of you.
There was blood. There was dirt. There was panic in the streets.
That was
except for the one lady on the phone.
The one lady on the phone was just like.
It was a great time. It's one of the best vacations I ever had.
Getting attacked.
Oh, it was awesome. Also, speaking of attack, I'm going to send a shout out. It has nothing to do with Hollywood Matrimony, but has everything to do with our real life.
Okay.
I want to send a shout out to people in my class that tested today. We had people that tested for first degree black belt and red belts. Every single one of them killed it. They got up there. They left it all on the floor. There was blood. There was injuries. There were tears. And I am not exaggerating. And it was all from their faces and their bodies and their eyes. And they gave everything they got, and they did an awesome job today.
They did a great job. It was good. So it was a good time.
If they want me to name them, I'll name them. But I just wanted to give them a shout out. Probably not a single one of these fools are going to probably see our show.
That's okay.
So that shows that respect they give me. Anyways,
thank you so much for watching. Did you have anything else?
I think that's going to be it, Missy.
All righty, sir. So thank you for watching. Make sure you check out our website, HollywoodMatrimony.com. Don't forget to go up to the top to that contest button if you want to win some free stuff. Also, thank you so much for watching us on Facebook at Hollywood Matrimony, YouTube at Hollywood Matrimony. We're on the Instagram at Hollywood Matrimony, and we're on the Twitter at Hollywood Matter, MATR, because they limit your character count.
That's right. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button right here. And if you come later on to the show, there's going to be a little floaty orb up at the top. You can click on it. It says Hollywood Matrimony. It'll show you a subscribe button. Click on that. And you can pop over here to see whatever new trailers and nonsense that I've posted. We greatly appreciate you as always. Sorry we won't be able to join you for the lovely Sunday evening, but you got a fun Saturday show, and you weren't doing crap anyway.
Thanks for watching.
Peace and love. Bye.